So, this week's question actually came from not Seth. Since it's the new year, pick a fictional character and give them a New Year's resolution. Lydia, let's start with you this week.
So I actually had to ask for help for mine because I could not come up with anything. So I'm kind of stealing Hootie's answer. But went with Katara from Avatar Last Airbender. And her New Year's resolution is that she is no longer going to be the mom friend. You guys can make your own poor decisions. I am not going to be there to clean up your messes. I'm going to actually enjoy myself this time, and I don't care what you guys do wrong.
Mine is kind of two-pronged. The main one is J. Jonah Jameson is going to start demanding pictures of other New York City superheroes.
Oh.
As a result, Peter Parker is resolving to sell his pictures of Spider-Man on OnlyFans.
Oh.
Tabitha.
I don't like that. So I picked Jane Eyre because my only beef with Jane Eyre is that she don't need no man. So Jane Eyre's New Year's resolution is to adopt the motto, gaslight, girl boss, gatekeep. And yes, the gaslight is a joke.
And Matt.
I am going to preface mine by saying that I still have only seen the first John Wick movie. But I'm picking John Wick, and his New Year's resolution is to adopt all the dogs.
That's a good one.
So I don't know if he gets a dog in other movies, but he will adopt all the dogs.
He actually gets a new dog at the end of the first one, I believe.
It's been too
It's
long.
a pit bull.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Well, that pit bull needs a friend, so he's going to adopt all the dogs.
see, the problem with that is now that just means that he's going to kill that many more people.
So
Which,
we'll get
I
that many
mean-
more movies.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
But I mean, I also like majority of dogs more than I like most people. So I mean, I'm not mad.
Fair.
I'm just saying, I was able to go 11 days into 2024 without thinking about John Wick, and then Matt ruined it.
Good job, Matt.
You're welcome. I'll try and make it less than 11 days next year for you.
Thanks, friend.
No problem. Text you at 12:01 on January 1st. Just a meme of John Wick.
I'm making a reminder for you
Right.
for the end of this year. Hey, text Mitch.
And then at 12:05, be looking for a Facebook post saying that we're looking for a new member to join the Geek Awakens family because somebody had to unexpectedly leave.
Make it sound like he's dead.
I mean,
Maybe.
he might be.
He's no longer with us.
You're listening to the Geek Awakens with Mitch,
Matt.
Tabitha.
And Lydia.
So we took a couple weeks off, and y'all decided, myself included, that hey, we're gonna have all the stories this week, and I'm fine with that. Also, with the exception of Lydia, both of your stories are normal this week, so I applaud you for that. Everybody else, actually, Matt, your stories are fairly normal too. Tabitha and I, we went rogue, and we've got some weird stories.
I have one normal one.
Okay, cool. But I want to start. I want to start this week. A couple of cool local things going on here pretty soon. So first off, the Springfield Park District is holding an esports game night on February 17th from 5 to 8 at the Velasco Tennis Center. It's in Washington Park. Kids 5 to 13 and accompanied by someone 16 or older can play Mario Tennis, Mario Kart, or Super Smash Brothers. Players are able to bring their own controllers. Cost is $8 for Sangamon County residents and $10.50 for non-residents. Before then, there will be an intro game night on January 27th at 5 p.m. For free play and to learn more about the Park District's esports program. For more information, email esports@springfieldparks.org. This sounds so cool. I'm here for this.
I mean, esports are the new thing.
And I mean, it is January, so
Something indoors.
Something indoors makes a lot more sense than setting up an event outside where it could potentially be icy and gross.
Yes.
True.
Coming up here pretty soon, Dumb Records is hosting a video game themed drag show called Over Sis. It is January 27th at 7 p.m. Tickets are $5 and attendees are encouraged to come and cosplay. Drag performers include Honey Mayonnaise, Spank Knightley, and Venus DeMilo, performing as characters from Sonic the Hedgehog to Five Nights at Freddy's and everything in between. Check out Dumb Records' Facebook page for more information on this. I'm not a huge fan of drag, but like I kind of want to go to this. This seems like stupid fun.
Dude, the drag trivia that we did a couple of years ago was one of the best times.
I've actually been to a drag show with my mom, of all people, and I feel like I should just be like, hey, so what you doing on the 27th? Want to go somewhere with me?
I spent my entire college career in a drag bar, so this sounds super fun, but I never saw one themed after video games, so I'm intrigued.
Yeah. I just want to see like whoever dresses up as Sonic in drag.
Go away, Mitch.
Nope.
Nope.
But fine. Let's just open up the pull list. What's on our pull list this week? And we've got 3 books to talk about this week. The first one is Unnatural Order. It is out January 10th from Vault. Written by Christopher Yost with art by Val Rodrigues. So, Yodok the Druid rules over a land of magic and monsters. But the prisoner Murdoch, a man from Yodok's past, threatens his reign. It has been a while since we read the first issue. So, I read the first couple of pages and I'm like, this is not anything that I remember. So I went back and reread the last couple of pages of issue 1 and kind of reacclimated myself. This issue starts way different than the first issue, but kind of ties everything together. If I remember correctly, I felt like we all said with the first issue that like things aren't adding up here, but it's all going to add up to something wild and crazy. And hey, it did. I am definitely here for, for the story that's being told. The art, especially when you're mixing like the different kind of, I don't want to say realities, but that kind of is what it is. We're mixing the different realities. I mean, the art plays well throughout. This is a really fun story. I was kind of apprehensive after reading for issue 1, but after issue 2, I am definitely all in. Matt, what did you think?
Yeah, I remember finishing issue 1 and going kind of like what is going on? Like it ended on a very weird note. Yeah, and like you said, I think we all thought that like something is going on, but you really have no idea what after issue 1. Issue 2 gives you a lot of information on kind of how things got to be the way they are and where they're going. It introduces you to the big bad. It kind of gives you a little bit more of each of the characters that are going to play crucial roles in the story. It also gives you a fair amount of background, I guess, into that soldier that you see at the end of issue 1. This evil druid is 100% up my alley. Like that's the kind of dark, weird, creepy stuff that I'm like, all right, let's let's go down the rabbit hole and see where we can go. So I'm ready for more issues of this.
Tabitha, what'd you think?
So, one of the reasons that I am so bad about picking up single issue comics is because of things like this. Because I remember really enjoying that first one, and I had no clue, not even a hint of where this was going. And I had to ask for a refresher on the first one. I don't mind so much being dropped off in the world that I was in previously in a second issue. My gripe here is this until about over halfway through felt like a completely different story. So it almost didn't. I felt no connection to that first one that I actually enjoyed. So, like I said, I think this is why I don't read single issue comics.
Well, next up is an original graphic novel, so it might be more up your alley, Tabitha. It is Spontaneous. It's out January 10th from Oni Press. Written by Joe Harris with art by Brett Weldele. So, spontaneous human combustion killed Melvin's father when Melvin was 3 years old. Since then, Melvin has devoted his life to finding out more about this phenomenon and just why this happens more than it should in his hometown. With the help of investigative reporter Emily, the two uncover secrets that were never meant to be revealed. Matt, let's start with you this time.
This is a hard one for me because I really enjoyed the premise. I really liked the idea behind this story. I didn't super care for the art apart from the fact that the differentiation between like the cool colors and then where fire comes in, like you get that yellow and orange like change to things. This, I hate to say this, but it feels like a good idea that was not executed super well. There's a lot of jumping back and forth. There's some confusion on what timeline you're in. And then at the end, you get an info dump to kind of answer all of the questions instead of letting you or showing you the characters figuring out what happened. I would have been happier with a 2-volume arc that in the second volume you kind of get to see them coming to those conclusions instead of the blocks of voiceover, if you will, explaining like what they figured out or what happened. So like I said, this idea is fantastic. I love this. I feel like there's a lot more to explore as far as that idea goes. I just was not a huge fan of the execution. One other note, I did happen to look this up. This is a paperback issue of a book that was originally released 12 years ago.
Oh, wow.
The hardcover was released in 2012. So, yeah, just a fun note for you.
Tabitha, what about you?
Part 1, spontaneous human combustion is like in my top 5 things that I'm terrified of. One day I think I'm just going to get so angry that it's finally going to happen to me. So watching it happen on the page was kind of terrifying.
Just please don't have it happen here.
I'll do my best.
Okay.
You're in control of
yeah,
that.
truly, you are in control of me spontaneously human combusting in your house.
I have the power.
You have the power. I'm with Matt. Like, the time jumps in this were confusing at best. I kept having to go back a page to see if maybe I accidentally like skipped through something and I just missed it. I liked the story and I was intrigued, but I kind of felt like I was reading a ABC Family TV show in a way, and it kind of made you saying it was 2012 makes sense because there was that run of like 2010 to like 2013 where everyone was having like these kind of stories told where it felt very like Smallville, like there's like a big bad corporate guy in the background kind of thing running everything from his mansion in the woods. This just happened to be from his nursing home in the woods. I enjoyed the art. The best part of this, I think, was those moments where you were getting almost the flashbacks and the color differentiation for me. But as far as the story was concerned, it felt like it was just kind of like loose-ended until they were like, oh, we want to end this. We need to wrap it up. My biggest complaint is for some reason I thought Melvin was a child and the reporter lady was like an older woman based on the way they were. And all of a sudden they're like kissing. And I was like, what in the Mary Kay Letourneau is happening? Like I had to stop. And I was like, how old is... I thought he was like 11 or like 15 and she was like in her 40s, and I was very upset for a brief moment until he's like laying on her lap underneath this tree, and I'm like, what how old? I need everyone's date of birth, please. Please provide me with your driver's license. So I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with you, Tabitha. I really enjoyed the art. I thought the art was phenomenal in this. One of the hindrances was definitely how it was hard to tell the past from the present. There were definitely a couple times where I was reading along, and then I was like, wait a second. And then I flipped back a couple pages. I was like, oh, okay. You both complained about the info dump at the end. I actually enjoyed that because I didn't see it so much as an info dump as I did Emily telling her story. Finally, like this was Emily's, article, expose, what have you. And so for that, I was here for it because as someone who like studied journalism in college and everything like that, I loved Emily. I thought that there were definitely a few moments where like she said some things that I feel like only someone who's taken at least journalism 101 would have picked up on. And so I was here for that. I'm going to be honest, the first couple of pages, there were a few jokes that, I don't want to say jokes, but whatever, that kind of almost turned me off from this book. I almost checked out then, but then, I kept going, and I got really invested in the story. I think you're right, Matt. I really liked the idea of this story, and I think that it could have been a lot better. Just with like a few, and not even necessarily any like major, like tweaks to it. Just like a couple like little things here and there. I think it would have been a much more cohesive, much more, I don't want to say a more interesting story because it was interesting, but like there were a few times in there where it kind of took me out of it. One major thing that I don't think was ever explained: why did the police officer have her daughter with her like all the time?
Every day is bring your kid to work day.
I mean, maybe it's just because it's like small town USA or whatever.
I am from small town USA. You still can't bring your daughter to work if you're a cop.
Fair. But yeah, and kind of going back, like, yeah, some of the things that kind of turned me off. Now knowing that this story, was actually 10 plus years ago, like, okay, it kind of makes sense, because our senses of humor as a society was different back then.
Yeah.
Things like that. So, like, I guess I can kind of understand that. The last book we're going to talk about tonight is Send Them a Farewell Gift for the Lost Time. Very long title.
Is this a Fall Out Boy song?
Man, I wish.
Dear Pete and Patrick.
So, Send Them a Farewell Gift for the Lost Time is out January 16th from Tokyopop by Cocomi. So, Naruse and Tui were together for 4 years when Naruse decided he had had enough and ended things with his boyfriend. But it's clear that the two aren't completely over each other. But will the two be able to see each other in a new light? Much like with Spontaneous, this book goes back and forth between the past and the present a lot. And with it being black and white, it was very difficult to tell. Especially when, these two main characters, yeah, there are some changes to their appearance, from the past and the present, but it's not anything major. You know, it was really, really hard to tell the difference. This was a very it was a sappy romance at the end of the day. Sappy and spicy. There were a couple of very spicy moments in this book. But I don't know. Like I had talked to Tabitha earlier this week about it because there was one book that we reviewed a few weeks ago, and she had mentioned how emo it was, and I was like, well, if you thought that book was emo,
so this is a Fall Out Boy song,
maybe.
Ah.
But yeah, but like I don't know. I thought that it was a really good story. It was cute. It was sweet. It had the ending that I kind of expected it to have, but still, like, I wasn't upset that it got the ending that I expected it to have. If that makes sense. So now let's go to trailer takedown.
Let's get ready for trailer takedown.
And thankfully, we only have 2 movies to talk about this week because somebody wouldn't let us talk about the Steamboat Willie horror movie.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So
I still watch that trailer anyways.
You did watch it?
Oh, absolutely.
I still haven't gotten around to it.
I had a whole conversation with my brother-in-law about it.
I'm so angry.
So
Gives you the willies.
and that is the first shame of 2024. And it
It
wasn't
didn't
even
go to Mitch.
That
Wow.
was so worth it, though. Yes, I'm proud of myself. Don't look at me like that.
Oh, hey, guys, I haven't updated my list yet.
So our 2 movies, we have Three Body Problem versus The Ones Who Live. Tabitha, since you forcefully took that microphone, let's start with you.
So, Three Body Problem is a book by Ken Liu that I have wanted to read for a really long time. And I think it's been on our shelves also for a really long time. And I keep, looking at it and thinking about reading it and then getting distracted. This trailer made me actually want to sit down and read it so I can enjoy this show when it comes out. I don't know what I thought Three Body Problem was about, but nothing in this trailer is what I thought Three Body Problem was about. So now I'm intrigued. As far as The Ones Who Live, no one warned me that I was about to have to watch a Walking Dead trailer. And why are they still walking? And also, I need the producers of these Walking Dead shows to realize that no one is going to the end of the earth for old Rick fucking Grimes. No one. I don't care how much you like him. No one's walking to the end of the earth for Rick Grimes. They're not doing it. It's not happening. And Andrew Lincoln's weird tiny teeth. So I'm giving Three Body Problem all 10 of my points. Walking Dead, you get nothing, as you deserve.
I'm going to keep mine short and sweet. I had no flipping clue what was going on during Three Body Problem. None whatsoever. But even then, there's a 3% chance that I will watch that show, but there is a 1,000% chance that I will watch that before I watch The Ones Who Live, which it's a series. I didn't even realize it was a series. So yeah, Three Body Problem, you get 10 points. I almost gave it 3 points, but I was like, wait. Matt.
So, like I said when we watched this trailer, I apologize, but I don't about the Walking Dead trailer. Number one, everybody thought this was going to be a movie. That's what AMC and Kirkman and the producers had said, that we were going to get a Michonne and Rick movie. Now we're getting a series. Yes, they're 2 of probably the most interesting characters on that show. Do we need another series in this universe? Not at all. I don't know how many people actually care that they're still walking and there are still zombies and they're still killing the zombies. It's just it's past its prime. Three Body Problem, I'm going to echo Tabitha here because we've had this on the shelf for quite a long time. Wanted to read it for even longer than we've had it on the shelf. No, I don't really have a freaking clue what's going on in this trailer other than this is hard science fiction and it's weird AF. But there's nothing in this trailer that doesn't make me want to go home, take this book off the shelf, and start reading right now. I know that this is a trilogy of books. The production value on this looks absolutely incredible. So being a Netflix series, just it's like they seem to have pulled no punches on this. I am going to follow suit with everybody else. 10 points for Three Body Problem and 0 for Michonne and Rick Grimes. Sorry.
Lydia, please don't take this the wrong way. But it really doesn't matter where your points are, but...
Ouch.
Go ahead and tell us anyway.
I mean, I kind of don't want to now, but okay, fine. Yeah, so Walking Dead just literally needs to die at this point. Also, I stopped watching the original series when Negan came in, so I feel like I've missed a lot. I have no idea what's going on in this new series, and I really don't care. My only thought was, where's Daryl? Because honestly, at this point, he's all I care about anymore.
He's in France. How
Okay.
he got there, we don't effing know.
Cool, good for him. Three Body Problem. I don't, like you guys said, I don't know what I was expecting with this, especially with that title. I was picturing something else, like, I don't know, like 21 Jump Street or something. I think it's the number thing. But this is totally not what I was expecting. I am intrigued. I want to see where this is going. My only gripe, and I'm curious if the book series is the same way, is I was getting a lot of X-Men vibes. Like with the helmet thing, my first thought was, okay, is Magneto going to show up? And then it's like, oh, hey, wait, is that Cerebro? What's going on? So
The exact same, literally
Thank
verbatim.
That would explain why Wong was there.
it's true.
That's the tie into the MCU.
It all makes sense now. But no, I'm intrigued. I want to actually sit down and watch this, which takes a lot to actually get me that intrigued of something with a TV series. So yeah, absolutely. It gets all my points, and Walking Dead can just die. Please. Please. Please.
So with the first shutout of 2024, I don't even have to do the math this time. I like this, guys.
You're welcome.
Don't get used to it.
Three Body Problem wins this week's trailer takedown. Did you plan that, Matt?
I did not, but I felt like with that Walking Dead trailer, as badly as we have beaten that dead horse, I felt like I needed to bring that to the group.
All right, let's go to gut reaction.
Gut reaction.
And tonight, we're actually going to visit the Baby Yoda news desk, but this time we have special correspondent Matt.
Coming to you live from a galaxy far, far away, the Baby Yoda news desk.
So the wonderful characters of Grogu / Baby Yoda and the Mandalorian, created by Jon Favreau, are going to make the hyperspace jump to the big screen.
Yeah.
What? You didn't like my segue? Okay. Anyway, it was announced on StarWars.com. Kathleen Kennedy has said that Favreau and Dave Filoni have created two of the most beloved characters in the Star Wars universe, and they have a story that is fit for the big screen. Favreau is going to start production at some point this year. Mandalorian Season 4 is still happening on Disney+, but we're also going to be getting a movie. As much as I love Baby Yoda and Mando, I'm going to go thumb sideways on this, because at this point I feel like you almost should have just taken Season 1 and made that the movie. I'm wondering what big story they have in their back pocket that would be worthy of the big screen at this point. So,
Lydia.
I mean, we all know that my Star Wars knowledge and everything is lax. With how much love there is for these two characters in this series thus far, I am gonna go with you and say thumb sideways, because I'm concerned that they are taking the love these characters have and going, oh, we can make more money if we put it in a theater, and it's gonna flop.
I'm giving this a thumbs 3/4 up.
Has that been an option the whole time?
I mean, sometimes, yeah.
Thumb math?
We've done thumbs mostly up. We've done this before.
We've assigned it a percentage.
Okay, fine. So
now we're 75%, 80, 85.
Talking about math, that's too much.
fine. So a thumb mostly up. Because, okay, so like I like the idea of this movie. I'm here for this movie. This will hopefully make me get around to watching season 3. However, and I don't know if this is just the working title, but it's just called The Mandalorian and Grogu. Like, I don't know what I would call it, but not that. I do not like that name. Tabitha.
I also do not like that name. However, I can't give anything but a thumbs up to anything involving Baby Yoda, so thumbs up.
Lydia, let's talk about some video game voiceovers.
SAG-AFTRA announced Tuesday that it apparently signed a deal with Replica Studios, which is an artificial intelligence voice technology company, basically agreeing to have licensing for actors' voices to be used in video games via this artificial intelligence. There has been a huge uproar in the voice acting community because apparently while they are acting like this was something that was voted upon by the members of this union, a lot of people are saying they had no idea that this agreement was even going on. SAG-AFTRA is saying that this agreement is supposed to be a good thing for voice actors, basically saying that it is giving them the option to opt out of having their voice used through this artificial intelligence if they don't want it and all that. However, like I said, everyone's saying, hey, we didn't even know this was a thing. Why would I sign my own pink slip? On and on and on. While I can see, like, from one side, because I've actually gotten Hootie involved in this, because, you know, union guy had to ask the question about all the ethics involved in this. If they did actually go through the steps of putting this to a vote and having people like put their 2 cents in, then yes, it makes sense to have an agreement in place where, hey, if you want to do this, we can get you actually paid to have your voice done as an AI, so you don't have to go through the hassle of doing this. If you want to opt out of it, you can say no, that's fine. If that's true, then cool. But if you went through all this process and got this agreement agreed upon, basically, without actually consulting the people that you are supposed to be unionized for, that is a big no-no, and there is a lot of consequences that are going to happen for this, and I think that we're going to see a lot more involving this story. So for right now, I'm going to go thumbs down because it feels like that they went behind a lot of people's backs and did something that they should not have.
Yeah, this is a huge thumbs down for me. Isn't the whole idea behind AI like a big reason for the actor strike in the first place? So then to go ahead and be like, voice actors, whatever, which voice actors, they do not get the love and the recognition that they deserve anyway, and this is just yet another point to that. Tabitha.
At the end of the day, they were fighting against, previously with the SAG-AFTRA strike, the utilization of AI in general. And with the writer's strike, same thing, Chat GPT, where you have people fighting against computer systems. This is absolutely no different. We are very much so headed toward a world where people who are, I don't know how to word this without sounding like a jerk, people who are, I don't want to say just voice actors, but like people whose faces are not noticeable and recognizable, their voices are, we're going to run out of those people because it's going to be cheaper, more cost effective, and more efficient to use AI for those voices without and cutting out the human element entirely, which is terrifying and sad. That's where we're going, and I don't know how they're going to stop it. So I'm giving this a huge thumbs down.
Matt.
Yeah, this is like an unbelievable can of worms. Because the voice acting business in general, from my understanding, which little as it is incredibly hard to break into. And those that do it are unbelievably talented. I've always had an issue with those animated movies that have the big name actors voicing characters. Granted, yes, you say what you will. Like Jack Black is Poe from the
Kung Fu Panda.
the Kung Fu Panda movies. He is Poe. Like, he just is that character. But the vast majority of those big name actors that voice those characters, it's like you're doing it because you want that big name attached to it.
Mm-hmm.
And if that big name can then opt in and say, yeah, go ahead and use my voice, now I don't even have to show up in the studio to record these lines. Those people that have made their life and their life's work to be voice actors are just completely shut out. They're out the door. They're done. Because why would you pay them to come in and recite their lines? Because they can't probably afford to opt out. But these big name actors will be able to, okay, yeah, go ahead and use it. So all of a sudden you've got Chris Pratt not just voicing Garfield and Mario, you've got him voicing every character under the sun because he decided to sign into this. Like, I'm not saying that he would, but like, just as an example. So, and that's not fair to those voice actors.
Well, another point that I was talking to Hootie about was how does this affect like deceased voice actors? So like, are we going to end up with Kevin Conroy voicing Batman for the rest of eternity because of something that they wanted to do with AI?
Because the state opted in?
Yeah.
Yeah, that creeps me out. I thought about that too, especially when remember when everybody flipped out about the like holograph of Tupac? Like, we're literally going to run into a time where all we have is like dead actors that are their voices and their images are still being used. We, like I said, I lauded the Harrison Ford thing for Dial of Destiny, where they CGI'd back to young Harrison Ford. If they can do that well in that film, what stops them from doing that after he passes away?
Yeah. So I'm gonna go thumbs down on this because it's just. I know in some ways this is where we're headed, but this is not where we need to go.
Speaking of AI, Matt, you've got some Magic the Gathering news.
I do. So Wizards of the Coast, Hasbro, Magic the Gathering continues to dig themselves a deeper and deeper hole. They recently had some artwork that was for promotional materials for new releases. Originally, those images came out and people called them out saying that there was AI aspects to the artwork. They said, no, that's not true. They quickly backtracked on that, deleted their X/Twitter post, and basically like, oh, well, there might have been a few. They confirmed that, quote unquote, some AI components were used in recent marketing artwork. They then promised to rethink how they work with AI and vendors in the future. Needless to say, the damage has been done. They have artists that have worked with them for years, including one who has done more than 60 Magic the Gathering cards. He's worked with them since 2007. He has said, nope, I'm done. I'm cutting ties. I will not do any more work for them. He did admit that he has the financial ability to do that. So don't take it out on those artists that can't afford to say no to this and have to continue to work with Wizards of the Coast. But he's taking a stand because he financially can. And he will not be working with them because he will not deal with a company that thinks that using AI components in artwork is okay. Hasbro, Magic the Gathering, Wizards of the Coast, like I said, they just continue to dig their own grave. I played that card game as a kid, teenager, but this is they just continue to misstep after misstep, and they're going to continue to pay for it. So thumbs down to them.
I'll get to you in a second, Lydia, but Matt, I just want to mention that you said say no to this, and then I stopped listening because I got that song from Hamilton stuck in my
Same.
head.
Same. I'm over here like jamming.
Lydia.
I forgot what we were talking about now. Yeah, so kind of the same thing, like with the whole voice actor thing. AI is getting way too involved in all forms of art to the point where people that have like spent basically their lives building their craft are getting pushed aside because computers can do it cheaper now, and I hate it. Just thumbs down. It needs to be removed from all forms of media.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have much to add. Thumbs down. This is kind of like what you were saying earlier, Tabitha. Like, there's no stopping it. We've opened, Pandora's box or what have you, but it's still a real pain to see, especially when, when you think of, like, when we were kids, you think, like when artificial intelligence or robots or whatever, like, take over the world, they would do it. They would work the jobs that we don't want to work so that we could do the things that we want to do. However, AI is doing the things that we want to do so that we can just continue to be slave labor. Late stage capitalism. Tabitha.
Don't like that.
Now I'm depressed. No, this is a giant thumbs down for me. Again, like, we are becoming as a society for our media, like, kind of reliant on AI, and I don't know where that goes. In 20 years, will every single book I read be written by ChatGPT? Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I think that all we can really do to, like, maintain some kind of hope and some semblance of things is, like, when we go to things like C2E2 and we go to conventions, we're making sure we're supporting, like, physical artists and people who are working really hard to break into those kind of scenes and make sure that those people know that they're supported, and it's not we notice them.
It's appreciated.
Yes, and it's appreciated that they're doing those things, and we're not just like, oh, what do we need you for? We have AI. Like, I don't ever want to be that person. So
100%. So, moving on to hopefully some happier topics. So IDW has renewed its licensing agreement with Paramount to continue putting out Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comics. IDW has had the agreement since 2009. This new agreement will see the publishing company keep the agreement in time for the Turtles' 40th anniversary. Saying all this, I saw, like, just before you guys got here, they announced that the current series of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles will end with the upcoming issue 150, which will actually come out on my birthday. I am giving this a thumbs up. I have not read much of this huge run of Ninja Turtles. IDW also puts out the Ninja Turtles Saturday Morning Adventures. It was originally a mini-series, and now it's become an ongoing. I read the original mini-series. It was a lot of fun. I haven't read any of the other issues. But Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles will always have a soft spot in my heart. And especially with IDW having it for the Turtles' 40th anniversary, IDW has done fantastic things with Ninja Turtles. So this is, I'm here for this. I think this is good news. Tabitha.
you're happy, I'm happy. Don't know a thing about Mutant Ninja Turtles since the 80s, so thumbs up.
Matt.
I think this is a good thing. I agree with you that if IDW has done what they have done with the property and they continue to do these things, it's just going to... I don't think it's ever going to be as big as it was in the 80s, but it will continue to have the staying power that it has had. We'll continue to get a movie here and there, maybe a new TV show. The comics will continue. Honestly, I'm almost most excited about the fact that with issue 150, it seems to be the end of a run, and they'll be restarting. And as much as I hate reboots for Marvel and DC, I've wanted to read Ninja Turtles for a long time, and I've never known where to start. I might actually finally have a starting point, so thumbs up.
Lydia.
So what Tabitha said, you guys are happy. I'm happy, so thumbs up. But also you said DW, and now I want to go watch Darkwing Duck.
Yes. I mean, we can just end this podcast here and then watch Darkwing Duck for a couple hours.
Okay.
Bye.
No, just kidding.
Aw.
Tabitha, let's talk about Keanu Reeves, and I swear...
There's not one mention of John Wick in my story.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Keanu Reeves is releasing a novel. He announced on Wednesday that he's going to be collaborating with one of his favorite authors, China Miéville. I'm probably butchering that. On a book called The Book of Elsewhere. The book is inspired, but not 100% based on Keanu's comic book series. Is it Berserker? Is that what it's?
Berserker.
Okay. Which he created with Matt Kent and Ron Garney, that tells the story of immortal warriors fighting through the ages. He's quoted as saying, "I hope you love it." And they have a release date of July. So I'm going to go with the solid thumb sideways. I don't know anything about this story, but I do know I love Keanu Reeves.
Matt.
So I read the first couple issues of Berserker. I believe it's still possibly in talks to be a movie or a TV show with Keanu, again, starring, writing, whatever. I mean, if you've read the comic, the main character is obviously based on him. It looks very much like him. To expand this universe of his story, that he obviously has more stories to tell for this character, I'm here for this. I'm going to go thumbs up. I think this is fun. It's a cool way to expand.
Lydia.
I didn't know that he wrote, so that's fun. But this sounds cool, so I'll give it a tentative thumbs up.
Yeah, I'll give it a thumbs up. I'm not personally interested, but, Keanu, you do you, boo-boo. So, it was recently announced that Charmin Obaid-Chinoy, am I pronouncing that right? Okay.
Who knows?
Will direct an upcoming Star Wars movie featuring Rey, making her the first woman and first person of color to direct a film for that franchise. So in an interview with CNN, Charmin said, quote, "We're in 2024 now, and it's about time that we had a woman come forward and shape a story in a galaxy far, far away." Panelists on the Fox News show Outnumbered they blasted the announcement, saying that the movie will flop because of its women first agenda and for being too woke. This caused Emily Campango to tell the group she said, I'm going to try to say it like her. "That's why I'm a Trekkie and not Star Wars." Yeah, she was like moving her neck and everything. While doing the live long and prosper gesture backwards.
Isn't that a gang sign?
I don't know, maybe.
Probably.
That's not the way that the female Vulcans are supposed to do it.
So I'm giving Charmin a thumbs up. I know that she's directed other things. I've never watched anything that she has directed. But if she has a different vision for Star Wars, I'm willing to give that a chance. Thumbs down to Emily. Hi, have you ever watched an episode? Pick literally any episode of Star Trek, and you won't be a Trekkie anymore because it is more woke than anything that Star Wars has done. Thumbs down, Tabitha.
I'm on an emotional roller coaster. So, good for Charmaine. Thumbs up. Get it. Give me a feminist Star Trek movie. But does it have to be about Rey? We come off such strong female leads in the Star Wars world. We've got Princess Leia. You even have Padme, who is at best like 75% not a peon. But then you gave me Rey, and I just wanted to punch her in the face the entire time. So, like, if we're gonna do a new Star Wars character written by a woman that is a woman, give me a new character that is not Rey. Also, Fox News can get fucked. Thumbs down for them.
Matt.
Thumbs up to Charmaine. if she's got a story and it fits in the Star Wars universe, it goes with everything. Absolutely, thumbs up, fantastic, love it, go for it. Maybe she'll give Rey some backbone.
Gonna retcon the whole character?
Maybe, you never know. Wouldn't be the first time. So thumbs up to her. Absolute thumbs down to Fox News. And yeah, she obviously has never actually watched a Star Trek episode because Star Trek is way more inclusive than honestly Star Wars could probably ever dream of being.
Lydia.
So again, I don't Star Wars that much. I don't even really know who Rey is other than I could tell you from a picture. But thumbs up for Charmaine and good luck taking apparently what is a mediocre character and maybe making it better.
Unpopular opinion. I liked Rey.
Again, I have no frame of reference, so I'm just going off of the opinions in the room.
Lydia, I will make a very good comparison after the show, and then you will not like Rey.
Okay, cool. Yeah, thumbs down to everything else, because just... Can I punch those people in the face? Is
Yes.
that appropriate? Okay, cool.
We're going to stick with stars, kind of. Matt, let's talk about Star Citizen.
So Star Citizen is an online space simulation that, if I'm understanding correctly, has not actually even been released. It's been in development for a long time, been crowdfunded, kickstarted, whatever. In the first quarter of this year, they are releasing a new pack of starships, vessels, what have you, that will be available in the game. This pack includes 175 vessels of all makes, models, whatever. The whole idea of this game, I guess, is that you build a fleet, you traverse the galaxy, doing jobs and quests and smuggling things and what have you. Here's the kicker. This pack costs $48,000.
I'm sorry, what?
Yes. $48,000. The hole gets deeper because apparently in order to qualify to purchase this Legatus 2953 pack, as they're calling it, you have to be a member of the Star Citizens Chairman's Club, which requires purchases of $10,000 to achieve. Yes, those are real dollars. You have to spend $10,000 in-game to have the option to purchase this $48,000 pack. And like I said, if I'm not mistaken, this game hasn't even really been released.
What? So this is money laundering.
Yeah. I mean, like, I guess if you commit to this, then when the game eventually launches, you will have all of these ships. Thumbs down.
Lydia.
So yeah, I was looking it up while you were talking, and yeah, it doesn't even look like it's out yet. So first of all, the fact that you're trying to sell me additional content for a game that's not even out yet, I'm angry. Second of all, what the heck is that price point? I don't care how big of a fan you are, especially for something that's not out yet. Why would you invest that much money into something you don't even know if it's good yet? Guys, I am mad. Thumbs down.
Yeah. Yeah, let's revisit this and circle back in, I don't know, 6 months, and I guarantee we're going to have a story about how the developers of this have been arrested for money laundering. Thumbs down. Tabitha.
This is an FDIC nightmare. Thumbs down.
Lydia, let's talk about Twitch.
So speaking of games, I guess. So Twitch, which is the biggest live streaming platform there is, apparently is making about 500 layoffs this year, after they did about 400 last year, which was a part of a bigger layoff that Amazon did. So Amazon owns Twitch now, and they announced they are doing a 35% cut of their workforce, which is about 500 people. The CEO actually posted a blog saying, "As you all know, we have worked hard over the last year to run our business as sustainably as possible. Unfortunately, we still have work to do to right-size our company, and I regret having to share that we are taking the painful step of reducing our headcount by just over 500 people across Twitch." So apparently there's a lot more kind of going on with Twitch than just these layoffs. They are kind of downsizing, trying to cut costs as much as possible because they are doing this layoff. They are also stopping their streaming services for South Korea as of like February of this year. They also had about 5 executives leave the company within the past year. And they are also switching up their amounts that the streamers actually make off of their streaming service. So right now, they had a 70-30 split, which the streamers actually got 70% of the profits from the subscribers that they did. They are now switching that to 50-50, but they are doing 50-50 for people that may have made $100,000 or more on the streaming platform. If you are still below that threshold, you will still get the 70-30 split, but once you hit that, it will adjust to 50-50. So, I mean, I'm going to give a thumbs down to the fact that they're laying off 500 people because, I mean, that's 500 people's livelihoods that are basically going down the drain. But I feel like the fact that they allowed streamers to make $100,000, it doesn't say if it's a month, a year, or what. Even so, if you make $100,000 streaming, I think you can take a 30% cut. So I feel like they should have adjusted the amounts that they were giving before so that they didn't have to make this kind of cut internally and cost people jobs. So maybe adjust your numbers before you have to make this kind of adjustment for your own employees. So yeah, just thumbs down.
I'm gonna go thumbs sideways. While I hate to hear about anybody losing their job, especially in a situation where they didn't necessarily deserve to lose their job. Not that anybody deserves to lose their job, but you know what I mean. Some people.
I fired a lot of people, Mitch.
But yeah, well, I don't ever. That kind of story never makes me happy. But at the same time, it sounds like Twitch is trying to course correct. I didn't realize that they were in the trouble that they were. I also don't know that I knew that Amazon had purchased them, but
yeah,
I digress.
For about $970,000.
Oh, what?
Or no, not thousand, million. Sorry.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Sorry. Wrong number.
So yeah, so like, if Twitch was in this situation, they should. Well, yes, they should have tried to fix the situation before it got this bad. At least they're trying to still be a thing and not just, peter out within the next 2 to 3 years. Tabitha.
So the layoffs followed by upping their price, like essentially their prices for their streamers, and like the differentiation there and the cut that they were receiving previously makes me think that they lost money elsewhere. They like tried to do something on the background.
They tried to buy one of those ships.
Maybe that's what they did. They tried to make a financial decision elsewhere that now they're especially with the loss of so many people in like a position of power in a very short amount of time. That's frightening from like a corporate standpoint. That makes me think that they spent money on something that we don't know about that they're trying to recoup their profits from. So I'm giving that a giant thumbs down.
Matt.
This gets a giant thumbs down for me all around. While I don't always agree corporate-wise, rob Peter to pay Paul, you're owned by Amazon. Suck it up, Bezos. Like, don't line your pockets so much. Don't lay off these people. And honestly, like, yes, these people that make $100,000 streaming, they can probably afford a cut of 20 or 30% in their profits. But at the same time, this is what they do to make a living. They obviously make content that is valuable to those that watch. So all of a sudden, because you effed up, they get less money. That's not their fault. It's not the fault of these 500 employees. You should find a better way to do this than taking money out of other people's pockets and out of their livelihoods. Take it out of Bezos' pocket, especially if you're owned by them. You should be able to figure that out somehow, some other way. Thumbs down.
I agree with that. I do kind of feel like with the whole split for the streamers thing, I feel like they should have made that a thing from the get-go. Like, if you hit this threshold, your payment adjusts. Because by that point, if you are making that much money streaming, you have sponsors, you have other people backing you other than just the streaming platform that you're on.
Or, at the very least, adjust it so that anybody that in the future crosses that threshold, this is where you sit.
Yes.
To basically retcon that for the people that are already there, that's not fair to them.
Yeah.
Matt, let's go into the Readyverse.
Let's not. I don't like this story at all, but...
Oh, what?
Well, listen and you'll find out.
So, Ready Player One. Yep. And the game system that they all logged into. Readyverse Studios is an AI, metaverse, and content company, whatever the F that means, is partnering with author Ernest Cline and the film producer of the movie, Dan Farah, in, quote-unquote, building the definitive destination for fans to explore their favorite stories in IP in the metaverse, leveraging Web3. Again, don't know what that means. Metaverse games and experiences, augmented reality, and virtual reality technologies. They're trying to make the world of Ready Player One a real thing. They already have the rights to all of Ernest Cline's IPs and future IPs to build this quote-unquote Readyverse. It's set to launch sometime this year, and I don't exactly know what, but there is some connection, partnership, involvement with Warner Brothers Discovery as part of this. I'm not here for this. This does not need to be a thing. I'm just going to go thumbs down.
Lydia.
So like they're trying to make the...
Yep.
I don't know much about this series, I guess, but that just sounds like horrible ideas. That's a horrible decision.
So many bad things. So many bad things.
I don't have anything to say, guys. Just thumbs down. No.
Yeah, thumbs down. No notes. Tabitha.
Can we just leave the book?
And we don't need the sequel.
We don't need the sequel. We don't need the movie. We don't need whatever the hell this is. I need a time machine. Thumbs down.
So, I don't really know how this happened. We've got 5 stories left. The next 4 are Tabitha's.
I'm sorry for who I am.
No, I'm sorry for who I am because, I don't know how I did. I tried to, space them out evenly and everything like that. That just did not happen this week.
I'm going to need honey lemon tea so I can talk for that long.
To be fair, all of these stories are weird AF. So you did kind of bring it on yourself.
That's fair.
Let's talk about Remains in Space.
We'll start with my least weird story.
Yes.
How is that the least weird? I'm concerned.
Stay tuned. So in November of 2023, NASA announced that it was going to be placing equipment on the moon via a lander from an American space company named Astrobotics. That launched on January 8th But unfortunately, it's looking like that lander is not going to get to the moon. And if it does get to the moon, it looks like it's going to crash into the moon. And we don't know what shape it will be in once it does land. I won't bore you with all the super sciencey details. Let's just say that it has a lot to do with the fact that they put the solar panels on the wrong side. It's fine. In addition to the equipment from NASA, on board this lander were also some human remains. There were ashes belonging to Gene Roddenberry, Arthur C. Clarke, and Nichelle Nichols. There were some additional famous remains in the form of hair belonging to Dwight Eisenhower, John F. Kennedy, and George Washington. This was part of what they were calling the Enterprise payload. That was courtesy of a private space company called Elysian Space, where Gene Roddenberry and Nichelle Nichols gave some of their ashes to be put on into space and onto the moon in their will. This was the company that was handling that. While it is fitting for maybe those two to be lost in space, Arthur C. Clarke, George Washington, and Dwight Eisenhower, maybe even JFK. I don't know that they asked for this. I mean, they must have somewhere, but I don't know who was in control of that. It just feels a little strange to me knowing that the president's hair will be on the moon. Maybe if it gets there. I don't... Oh, we shall see. We'll see where their ashes end up. In my opinion, Gene Roddenberry would be very pleased that his ashes were just roaming space. Same with Nichelle Nichols and probably Arthur C. Clarke as a sci-fi writer. I think George Washington is probably going, what is space? Dwight Eisenhower is just grouchy about it, and JFK is probably upset because he's Catholic. So thumb sideways.
Matt.
I mean, JFK did want to go to the moon. So there is that.
Still didn't make it.
Maybe, maybe not. We don't know. Danger Will Robinson?
Danger George Washington?
Please name the episode that.
I don't even know what to say about this. Are we still giving thumbs? Because this is just floating into the ether at this point. I don't even know where my thumb would go.
Not the moon.
Nope.
Lydia.
So, like, these are like scientists and NASA smart people that are supposed to be like sending this thing off, right? Like, how do you put the solar panels on the wrong side?
They forgot where the sun was in the winter, I think. I honestly don't know.
I mean, if it ever does make it to the moon and it does crash land, I guess all the like hair and other things are gonna just join the ashes because it's gonna explode at that point. I don't know, guys. Thumbs side. Wait, I don't even know. Thumbs in space.
I'm giving this a hard thumbs down. NASA, like, well, I guess it wasn't completely NASA's fault, but still, like, y'all dropped the ball on this one, hardcore. And kind of like to echo what you were saying, Tabitha, like, in all of George Washington's years, he didn't think that this would ever be a thing. He probably didn't know what space was, and then also didn't think that he would ever be there. And now there's his hair follicles going like it's passing star, I don't know, like star 867 or however the hell they name stars. I don't know.
He just wanted to cross the Delaware.
And now he's crossing the Big Dipper. Tabitha, let's talk about the sweetest lawsuit ever.
Oh my god. All right. So you know how normally stories start out a Florida man? This one actually starts out a Florida woman, specifically from the Tampa Bay area. She is seeking a class action lawsuit against the Hershey Company after the packaging for its peanut butter pumpkins showed false representation of the Reese's peanut butter cup. This woman says that she paid $4.49, which is very specific, for a pack of the pumpkin-shaped Reese's at her local Aldi grocery store because she assumed, and I quote, the product contained a cute-looking carving of a pumpkin's mouth and eyes as pictured on the packaging. Obviously, she opens it. It's just the chocolate, none of the detail. She says she wasn't going to purchase it if the pumpkins did not have the face. And now she has accused Hershey of trying to convince people to buy the peanut butter candy by misleading, untrue, and deceptive and or fraudulent representation. However, she is also seeking damages on behalf of the entire state of Florida who purchased their deceptive products like the White Ghost peanut butter bats and the peanut butter footballs. This class action lawsuit filing damages, she says, are going to exceed $5 million. If I filed a lawsuit every time I opened a package and the inside did not look like the outside, I would be having that video game thing. I would be in space with Gene Roddenberry's ashes. I would have so much money. It would be great. Thumbs down to this Florida woman.
Matt.
Y'all, if you don't know that you actually take a picture and are surprised when those Reese's peanut butter cups look like what they're supposed to, then you are an idiot. Like, if you open one up and it actually looks like a tree, you're like, holy shit, I got one that looks like a tree. Like, that's something you celebrate. Nobody expects them to actually look like a pumpkin or a tree. She's a moron. Thumbs down to her and her stupid lawsuit.
Lydia.
This is like the people that sued McDonald's because they spilled hot coffee in their lap and somehow won. And I'm terrified that this lady is going to win somehow. And I hate that for our society. Thumbs down.
So we can maybe talk off air. The McDonald's lawsuit was 100% justified. We're already well over an hour into it, into this episode. I'm not going to say this on air, but like, oh my God. Anyway, back to this woman. When I open up a Reese's pumpkin, you know what I'm not thinking about? How, there are not carvings in here that make it look like Jack-o'-lantern. What I am thinking is, oh snap, I'm about to eat a Reese's pumpkin, which is one of the greatest things in the history of this world. This is a great American product. Its ashes deserve to be in space right alongside George Washington. This woman can get wrecked. Thumbs down. Tabitha. Let's stick with food and talk about SpongeBob ice cream.
So the Popsicle Company has given SpongeBob's popsicles a little baby makeover. Okay. I don't know how to say this in a PC kind of way. They were inspired by the many fun faces of SpongeBob. So while they did not change the taste, apparently the SpongeBob popsicles taste like fruit punch and cotton candy. Didn't know that. Never had a SpongeBob popsicle. They have changed the visualization of SpongeBob to a more sketch-like design. By sketch-like, I mean it looks like drunk Tabitha tried to draw it at like 4 o'clock in the morning on a napkin when she was explaining what SpongeBob looked like to someone who had never seen SpongeBob before. It is horrible. Yes. It kind of looks like a McDonald's fry container to me with a smiley face on front of it. It has no longer looked like SpongeBob. It's lost its SpongeBobiness to me. I'm giving it a thumbs down because not only have I never had one, now I don't want to eat one because it creeps me out.
Matt.
If I'm not mistaken, this SpongeBob remix looks like if Christopher Nolan did SpongeBob as the Joker.
Oh my gosh.
Thumbs down.
Lydia.
So while the SpongeBob ice cream, I don't even know what these things are called, have never really looked like SpongeBob because they usually have like wonky gumball eyes that are never in the right spot. I would take that over this any day because this is not SpongeBob. This is weird and I don't like it. Thumbs down.
Yeah, thumbs down to that poor SpongeBob that just looks more sad than anything. Thumbs up to your description of that, Matt.
Yeah.
Tabitha, we haven't heard from you in a while. Let's chew on some Miller Lite mints.
Never say that to me again.
Let's chew on some Miller Lite mints.
I'm gonna murder you. if you've ever thought to yourself, man, I wish my breath could smell like Miller Lite without actually drinking a Miller Lite, you're in luck. Miller Lite is going to be selling its first ever mint starting on January 12th. You can order yourself a 1.13 ounce 10 of mints for $5. It tastes just like Miller Lite. At first, I'm going to read the quote from their press release. Consumers will be greeted with the freshness of beer, but notice the subtle difference and get a great taste of Miller that leaves consumers feeling fresh and their taste buds hoppy with beer, and beer lovers can now chew their brew without consuming a drop of beer and enjoy some fresh breath in the process. The company is releasing them due to dry January, apparently, and trying to give a fresh start to the new year. But without you having to drink anything. If I smell a Miller Lite at 50 yards, I'm yakking. So if I put a mint in my mouth that smelled like a Miller Lite, I would probably just disintegrate into pieces on the ground. So thumbs down.
Matt.
So they should change the name to DUI January. Because you're going to get arrested for this, even though if you don't don't blow the breathalyzer that you are intoxicated. Who could have possibly thought this was a good idea? Thumbs down.
Everything okay over there?
My hands are small. I know.
All right.
They're not yours. Don't worry about it.
Lydia.
Yeah, that was my first thought. Is like, who intentionally wants their breath to smell like beer, especially Miller? If they're not drinking beer, because that just sounds like a way to get arrested. Second of all, I don't think you can actually call it a mint if there's not mint in it. So, thumbs down, guys. Stop.
Sue them for false advertising, just like that
Ooh.
Reese's woman.
We can make a ton of money, guys.
I'm here for it.
So quick story. There was one time I was at a dive bar. I don't even remember where I was, but like I asked for something, they were out of it. I asked for something, they were out of it. And so like at this point I was like, I'm just seeing like a bunch of like domestics, and I was like, I'll take a Miller Lite. Bartender turns around, leaves, and I'm like, why the hell did I say that? Miller Lite is disgusting, guys. I want nothing of this. Thumbs down. So I've got the last story of the night, and
Oh, it's not Tabitha?
Yeah, it's not my turn anymore.
But I was enjoying it so much.
so is Tabitha.
Was she?
So I made sure to show you guys this video earlier tonight so that you know exactly what I'm talking about. So last year, we had the first ever Pop-Tarts Bowl, which featured the North Carolina State Wolfpack and the Kansas State Wildcats. In the lead-up to the game, fans were promised another first, an edible mascot, which would go to the victors. Before the game started, the mascot was unveiled via giant toaster, and it was a human in a Pop-Tart costume. Throughout the game, Poppy? I don't know. They didn't really...
They didn't give him a name?
I don't know.
They sacrificed him to the players and they didn't give him a name. I'm mad.
Throughout the game, Poppy could be seen like messing with the refs, dancing, and all around living his tartiest life. So, in the end,
Like,
Kansas State won 28-19. And this is where things get heated.
I'm just going to leave this open.
I'm just going to hold on to this bell.
So, standing on top of the toaster and holding a sign that said, "Dreams really do come true," Poppy is lowered and comes back out the front, which is not how toasters even work, by the way. Where the Wildcats consume Poppy's flesh.
Don't like that.
That's what happened!
It's not flesh, it's pastry.
So even during his short life, Poppy was able to go viral. People fell in love with the pastry. There was one post on X that said, like, live every day like the Pop-Tart led his last day or something like that. It was more funnier than I just read it. But all hope is not lost. On December 30th, Pop-Tarts posted to social media. It was the thinking of other women meme. You guys know what I'm talking about? Yeah. With the guy thinking, since one of Strawberry's eyes was left over, could that mean a full pastry regeneration, allowing Strawberry to come back again for next year's Pop-Tarts Bowl?
You made it worse, not better.
No. 10 times worse.
This makes me want to take a bath with the toaster, but that's about it.
But, like, how bizarre is this?
I just want to take a minute to talk about all of the kids who were watching this game with their parents. They're like, oh my God, look at that really fun mascot. This is so... Why are they eating him? Daddy! This is one of the reasons I hate mascots, because they always do funky stuff with them, and it makes you just feel uncomfy.
But never quite this funky.
I have never seen a mascot eaten alive. No. Or
Well,
alive, but also toasted.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think he was alive. Like, it was a self-sacrifice, definitely.
Yeah, this is like throwing a virgin into a volcano, but like the football version.
Oh,
this is why everyone hates
Poppy got laid. There's no way Poppy was a virgin.
This is why everyone hates America. I'm moving. Goodbye. I'll
To
see
where?
you guys in the UK. Dear King Charles, take me back.
Also, can we just, like, appreciate how uncomfortable, like, eat him comments or whatever? I don't even remember what they said now, but it was uncomfy.
This is just a no. I mean, I could tell my dad joke, but I'm not.
No, please do.
Okay, I will in a second. After I
Opening the shame list back
right.
up.
So, this is why we need less of these stupid college bowls hosted and sponsored by stupid sponsors. Like, this is just ignorant. Like, there's no reason to have a Pop-Tart Bowl, period, the end. Like, the teams that even get into these bowls have mediocre records at best and then make hundreds of $1,000s for playing on TV. The whole thing is stupid. The Pop-Tart is stupid. Eating the mascot is stupid. Like,
I have a solution. We cancel college football because no one cares.
True. Nobody cares about college football. All right, dad joke time.
I don't know.
Yeah, you might as well get that bell ready. Why are there Pop-Tarts but no Mom Tarts?
I don't know why.
Because of the patriarchy.
I actually don't hate that. No shame for you.
All right, thank you.
Not bad.
This was... All right, well, this was the first episode, 24. Congratulations, guys. We survived. Barely. Unlike Poppy.
Aww.
R.I.P.
Yeah. The P stands
Toasted
for Pop-Tart.
too soon.
There it is.
I don't know, guys. Bye?
Bye.
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 That's going to do it for this episode of The Geek Awakens. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, shoot us an email at thegeekawakenspodcast@gmail.com.
It would be a shame if you didn't follow us on Facebook and Instagram at the Geek Awakens Podcast or on Twitter at Geek Awakens.
Theme music created and produced by E. Cannon Beats.
Our logo was designed by Shay McCain.
Thanks for listening. We'll catch you next time. We're boldly gone.